also on Facebook and on YouTube, of course. So let's do that quick introduction. The guys are in studio. Sicho Philip Achrim is here. Sicho, how you doing, my friend?
Sue.
Oh, good, yeah?
Yeah, bro.
All right. Listen, Daniel Cranston and Achu Tamaklo, where are they? Where are they? Okay. Daniel K, please sit down.
We are here.
Please sit down. Please sit down.
For some of our friends.
Yeah. You did it to do what?
Some dockets for the AG department just called me. So I was.
Charlie, this David they joke with some names. If you be careful, don't go pick you.
Do you know of another AG's department?
Yeah, pick you.
If you are dealing with any other AG's department, then you are engaging in fraud. If you are dealing with any other AG's department, then you are engaging in fraud.
Tell us, telling you.
This guy. Danny K, how you doing?
Life is sweet.
Like how you going to go?
We?
We've also been joined by a senior colleague, boxing expert extraordinaire, author, published author, now on his second book on Ghana boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Echo Asma.
By the grace of Jesus.
Yes, Christo, Ada Romanti.
By the grace of Jesus.
Yes, that's right. Listen, take the mic a bit closer to you. Yes, thank you. Better.
By the grace of Jesus.
Yeah. But how you been? How have you been? You've been busy with another book, I'm told.
Yeah, I've been submarining. This will be my fourth boxing book.
Fourth?
That's right. The third was the one we launched 6 years ago.
Yes.
It's already been 6 years.
That's interesting. So what was the first one on?
It was solely on DK Poison.
Okay.
So.
And then after that was?
That was 95.
Okay.
Then after that was the volume 2.
Of that?
In 97.
Okay.
Fortunately, it was launched by the late Nia Jinkwa.
Okay.
Former vice president of
Yes.
the WBC. That was 97. And then I disappeared for a little bit.
Right.
Then
you went to America.
Disappeared for a little bit.
Just
a little
say
bit.
and you came out and you came back with the New York accent.
Oh,
a little bit.
you make me too conscious of it.
Don't.
It's not my fault.
It's not your fault. You were there for a long time.
Not just that. My wife is American.
Okay.
My daughter is American. My son is American, and we talk all the time.
That's right.
So I'm not even aware.
No. It is who you are. You can't take it away from you.
Yeah, man. It's potato.
It is potato.
It's the same
potato.
thing.
Potato, man.
It's the same thing. As long as I'm able to communicate and you get it. I hope.
Listen.
I hope I can flow.
No.
If I'm too mindful, I won't be able to flow.
Yeah. No. You gotta give it to them.
You gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta do
it is what it is.
That's it, man.
It is what it is.
That's it, man.
Listen, what's the new book on? The one that's yet to be released.
Yeah. This is on the making of Azuma Nelson.
Oh,
I'm sure the whole world has heard about Azuma Nelson.
Yeah.
And there are so many angles to his story.
Yeah.
Azuma Nelson happens to be the product. So we know about the product Azuma Nelson.
Right.
And he's not only the product, he's the product of a certain environment.
A certain process.
Of the Gan people.
Right.
And the Gan people, the Gan child has always known how to defend himself or herself because of their culture.
Right.
Because of their Asafo Achale days. And the children were raised to have no fear of combat.
Right.
And to lose any fear of the word fear itself.
Yeah.
So per their culture, even under the light of the moon, from about the age of 5, they were paired according to ages at the beaches, to take on each other. And the whole notion was to raise warriors to defend their villages in the event of enemy aggression. That was the whole point, to raise warriors to defend their own people, to be able to hold their own, be able to defend themselves at all times, just like boxing, and also to defend their village in the event of enemy aggression. This was way back, before electricity, before the Oyibo man come
course.
here and all that.
Of
So
course.
it's within their culture to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
So the typical Ghana child defending himself or herself is nothing.
Right.
You know, so he's a
So
product
the
of.
spirit of fighting is
It's-
instilled very
Oh
early
yes,
on.
yes. They come from that bloodline. So that he's a product of that environment. But there was a particular environment created for him to flourish, and that was the Akotoku Academy. It's the greatest academy in the whole world. I mean, Azuma Nelson has told me, the founder, Atuke Kulote, himself a former boxer, is the greatest trainer he has ever had to go through. He was the greatest thing to happen to him. And Azuma has been trained by so many other very well noted boxers. For him to still say Atuke Kulote was the best tells you about the academy. And so a little bit about the people who supported it, the trustees of the Akotoku Academy. That story has not been shared.
Right.
And I've had the great privilege of doing some research and getting the great fortune of talking to one of the godfathers of Ghana boxing, Ni Amakai Amatefield.
Oh yes.
And I think that story needs to be shared.
Ambassador.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's phenomenal because I think as media, we haven't done justice to the Azuma Nelson story. I think Ghanaian media in that sense, and this is something that I have had conversations about as well. Even more because I think I've seen several documentaries about Azuma Nelson, but very few from the Ghanaian perspective that would have been able to capture some of the angles that you covered in your upcoming book. So thank you for telling that story because Azuma, as you rightly mentioned, is a product of a certain process, a certain cultural background.
That's right.
And some of it have been told, but quite a lot of it, like what you just spoke to us about, has not been told. So
That's right.
I think that it's an important exercise you've embarked on. And of course, we will support you,
Thank you.
when the book comes out. We'll be there at the launch. Do you have any timelines, any ideas?
We're looking at sometime in August.
Sometime in August.
That's
Okay,
right.
that's not too far away.
No.
You've also been... you're a member of the investigative committee, are you?
I was.
You were. Okay, your work has concluded.
That's right.
So you're no longer there.
That's
What
right.
happened to the committee? Once you handed over to the ministry?
Actually, the minister, Kofi Adams, mentioned on the day we presented the report that we will still be consulted. And ever since, some of us have been consulted, ever since we did the presentation.
Yeah.
So we are sort of, informal consultants,
Yeah.
even as we speak.
Yeah.
So, but formally, our work is done.
The work is done.
And the minister said he will make it public.
Yeah.
He said he will study it and make it public. A week after that, the PR department of the sports ministry put out a statement that the minister has agreed
Yeah.
to implement all the recommendations.
Yes.
So I'm heartened by that.
Yeah, and then obviously the people that were investigated have been speaking a lot. Last Friday
So
we
you
had
invite them then since.
yeah, we had we had an extensive conversation. So I don't really want to rehash the issues and what have you, because we had a very extensive conversation. Nathaniel was here, went into some of the issues that were raised, and what have you. And all the other concerns that the committee, the Ghana Boxing Authority members had, and all of that. They said, that you people have recommended that they should disband the GBA, and they're fighting and saying that you don't have authority to do that. Like, it's a whole lot.
They don't have authority to recommend.
Bottom line, yeah.
It gotta be somewhere.
By the way, actually, what's the latest? Has the body been flown back?
No, not
not
that
yet.
I know of. So the GBA president said they would conclude that as of last week.
Yes.
But as of Monday, I knew for a fact that had not been done.
Okay.
And that was what brought the whole blame game thing where the minister, I think the last Saturday, the minister was on Sports Zone to come and clarify that that part lies within the remit of GBA and not the ministry's responsibility. The ministry only came in to understand what happened, and based on the information they would find and actionable intelligence, then be decisive and say that this is what we're going to do. So then they would get into the recommendations and all of that.
Okay. So Eko, I don't want to get into those issues because it would be like we are repeating. I'm sure you listened to the show last week.
Yeah, I did. Saturday. Saturday too.
Saturday as well. Exactly. I don't want us to go in circles. I want you to talk to me about something else that's happening this week. You have followed Ghana boxing for a long time. We've had quite a number of big fights here as well. There's another big fight happening tonight. Between Dixon and Thabiti. If you hear the two names, you would think Dixon is the American and Thabiti is the Ghanaian, but it's the other way around. What Anthony Joshua is here? It seems like a really big deal.
Yeah, it seems so, but I think they missed a little opportunity in publicizing it much earlier than today, the day of. So I was hoping that at least certain production teams of some major media houses would have been in on it to publicize it much earlier. But it's a very good sign that if we can attract the big names here, not particularly thrilled by Joshua in the sense that I'm thrilled by his presence,
right?
Because he's giving attention to Ghana,
yes,
the country Ghana,
yes.
But as to him being an inspiration, really.
Uncle, what do you have against Anthony Joshua?
No,
it's a former heavyweight.
Onyadi, nothing. Onyadi.
I mean, it's a former heavyweight champion.
No, I know, but don't forget that Muhammad Ali has come to this country before.
Fact.
Muhammad Ali,
who is also a former heavyweight champion.
Oh, but please, don't blaspheme. You see, this is blasphemy.
I just stated a fact. He's a former heavyweight champion.
This is blasphemy. When we talk about Muhammad Ali, before. Okay, number one, he shared the stage with Clement Ikote at the Rome Olympics.
Yes.
Light heavyweight. And then Clement Ikote became the first African to win a medal, period.
Yes.
At the
and that's in 62,
and then,
right?
Yes, and that predated, 1960 in Rome.
60, okay.
And then 4 years later, Muhammad Ali came to this country in 1964.
Right.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Huge.
Massive.
It's not in the same context. So please.
He didn't need to ride a motorbike.
But you see, it's good attention for Ghana that he has come to Ghana. The British don't joke with their heroes.
Yes.
I remember I was in the States when, what's his name? Your friend, Bruno, messed up against Mike Tyson when Tyson was ready to be taken out.
Right.
Tyson knocked him out in 5 rounds. He goes back to the UK and he's hailed like a concrete hero. I couldn't believe it. So, as for the British, I mean, once they love you, regardless.
Yeah.
So that's a good trait of them to regardless whatever happens to you, if they like
their own.
That's it.
And the football is like that.
So we should also like our own too and project from here. It would have been great if Joshua had come here while he had the title. Then it would have meant something.
Right.
Now he's a spent force.
Oh God.
You know it. Unless you wanna, he's a spent force. But I like the fact that
if Joshua walks in here right now.
Oh, and if he walks in here, what will happen? He can't fight. He can't fight. He's a boxer. He doesn't fight if he's now paid.
So he can't punch you.
No, he can't. Because if he wants a fight, then we'll have to negotiate. You will have to call my manager. We'll have to discuss. If we have to discuss the size of the ring, the size of the glove, and then the pads and all that. We'll have to discuss all that. I don't mind fighting Joshua at all. Because I'm going to make some big dough. It'll be my payday. No, I don't mind at all. We just have to. All of that has to be discussed. You have to see my manager. We'll discuss. His people would have to talk to my people. Then we'll talk about the size of the glove, the size of the ring, and all that.
Yeah.
And then the
training period.
Percentage and all that.
Yeah.
We have to discuss all that.
You don't mind fighting him?
No, not at all.
Because
it's going to make me a lot of dough. Quick. No.
Yeah, but seriously though, I mean, what do you make of the boxing scene? I mean, you saw a lot of things when you did that investigation and looked into the GBS operations, fighting, all the issues. I've always thought that the Bukom Boxing Arena has brought or has breathed a new life into the boxing scene. We're organizing all these fights, but underneath it all is also a lot of rot and what have you.
That's a problem.
Yes. Talk to me through about what because you come from an era of world champions to where we are now. Tell me what you uncovered, because we haven't produced a world champion since what?
Since
2018?
This administration has not. Almost every other administration has produced a world champion.
Oh, Dogbe and this guy.
Almost every other
18.
administration has produced a world champion.
Okay. This administration has.
No, you check that, and there's a reason why.
Okay.
Check the pedigree of the following people: Justice Daniel Francis Annan, DF Annan,
Yes.
produced DK Poison,
Mhm.
produced Azuma Nelson.
Mhm.
Okay. Alote Kofi, John Alote Kofi,
Mhm.
in private life known as Nia Ajenkwa.
Yeah,
He was also a member of that syndicate, the Ghana Boxing Syndicate that produced DK Poison, that produced Azuma Nelson. Apart from that, and it's part of the reason I'm doing this book,
Yes.
because they happen to, Justice DF Annan and Ni Ajenkwa happen to be trustees of the Akotoku Academy. Aha,
It's all making sense now.
that's right.
Mm.
And that's it's their story that
So
this
they
book
gave
is
us our
about.
first world champion.
Not just that,
Mhm.
they were trustees of the Akotoku Academy, whose founder, Atuke Klote, trained 5 world champions for Ghana. DK Poison,
Yes.
Azuma Nelson was a stablemate of DK Poison.
Mhm.
Then Ikote, he trained Ikote, and even when he died, Ikote, and then the late Alfred Kote, and then his own son Joshua Klote.
Yes.
5 world champions have come through Akotoku Academy. 5 of the 10 world champions Ghana has had came directly from Akotoku Academy. It's not per chance. The reason being the big wigs behind the Akotoku Academy.
Of course.
That's the trustees. And that story is not being told. That's what this book is about.
Absolutely.
DF Annan. And then you know Doug Haywood Mills, right?
Yes.
Kodesh.
Yes.
His grand uncle, Walter Haywood Mills, was part of the trustees that let Atuke Klote flourish like that.
Oh wow.
So it has that spiritual foundation. Actually, the Akotoku Academy was built right in his backyard at Modo in Bukom. So it's not per chance. And even that Bukom alone, besides all the name it's had, there are some political bigwigs around it. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our first president,
Mhm.
he rose to the presidency from the seat of Ododo Diodio, right there in Bukom.
Yeah.
And Nado, our immediate past president,
Mhm.
was born at Swalaba, which is a part.
It is a
Of
part of
Bukom.
Bukom. Yeah.
So as for the Ghana people and Bukom and all that, it's not just boxing. It's not even just politics, even football. And then one other trustee who's also in the book is Henry Planch Nyamite, HP Nyamite, former chairman of the GFA, was also a member of the trustees.
You know, this conversation, Neil and Van der Poel should be part.
I wish he were here.
Yeah.
So, because I mentioned his
Exactly.
territory. Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, unfortunately, to somewhat, he's the man of your man.
Yeah.
You know,
He's the man of my man.
That's right.
Yes.
Nikwe.
I understand.
No, Nikwe has said on many media platforms that he brought him.
Yeah.
Neil Ante Van der Poel brought him to office.
Now he's suggesting
And
that
now
he
he's also saying,
Mhm.
ironically, that Neil Ante Van der Poel is trying to take him out and just using, unfortunately, saying that, quote unquote, saying the Honorable Sports Minister is just
Former.
using the committee as a
Conduit.
means to an end. Thank you.
Yeah.
To fight the battle of
Yeah.
of Honorable Neil Ante Van der Poel. That's not the case.
Yeah.
It disrespects us.
It does. It
And
does.
he did so in front of us. It was very disrespectful, and even had to kneel down and beg.
Where did this happen?
During
It was
the
the
committee.
last day of the committee sitting.
When he was invited.
It was the second time. He went all out, very disrespectful, even to the person of Niyamaka Amatefi.
Wow.
No respect whatsoever, and had to even kneel down and beg. And after that, he still continued. So it seemed to be like a stunt that he pulled that day. If I were him, I'll be quiet, because some of the stuff that's happened is really damning. In
For
other
example-
jurisdictions, you will be facing prosecution.
You mentioned why they haven't produced a world champion. What are some of the issues you uncovered that you think are some of the reasons or the things undermining our efforts in trying to win a world title?
Number one, if there's no doctor, there should be no fight.
Right.
The Ghana Boxing Authority has not had a doctor in 3 years.
Huh.
3 years. The last time they had a doctor was 3 years ago. Dr. Ama Kwe. Since then, the Ghana Boxing Authority has not had a boxer. So our boxers are not safe. They have not been safe. Yet the promoters have been paying the GBA for the services of a doctor. Actually, one of the promoters that came to work said he would be extremely shocked. What was the word? Extremely surprised to learn if the GBA didn't have a doctor because they've been paying for the services.
Yeah, but he's also been organizing fights. Every time his fighters are fighting,
because they've been told there's a doctor, which is the nurse that is being masqueraded as a doctor.
So a nurse. That's wild.
That's
wild. Hold
So
on.
because he's been defrauding the promoters.
That's what I'm saying.
They've been paying for the services of a doctor.
And they've been bringing a woman, a nurse,
Yes,
and
all
they've
that
been
time.
telling the promoters that the nurse is the doctor
That's right.
that they paid for.
That's right.
That's-
that they've been
that's-
paying for.
That's criminal.
He's been defrauding them. That's why I said in other jurisdictions he will be facing prosecution as we speak. So I'm surprised he's talking. He should be quiet to be negotiating here and there. That's what he should be doing. He should be negotiating.
Wow. Okay,
You
so
know,
there's the issue of
not
the
be
doctor.
making all that noise. No.
There's the issue of the doctor or the lack of it.
That's right. Because
What's next?
and then even the board. Without a doctor, it's not complete.
Hmm.
There's supposed to be a doctor on it. Since they haven't had a doctor. And the doctor is very important because we're talking about the issues that are core to the safety and health of the athlete, which is the boxer. Without the boxer, you don't have a sport.
Right.
I mean, without any sport, without the athlete, there's no sport. So their interest should be front and center for the GBA. That's not the case. Number one, and then in this particular case, what hurt me a lot, actually, while we were doing the deliberations, I kept feeling depressed because I thought this could have been avoided.
Right.
I thought so. I mean, I was feeling depressed as we were uncovering several layers of negligence, starting from Nigeria, because the contract for the fight to begin with was not signed by the promoter. Was not signed. So that means you don't even have a contract.
Right. It's not valid.
No.
The document existed.
It
but
wasn't
was
signed by
unsigned.
it was not signed by the promoter. It was only the boxer that signed. Actually, even the Ghanaian boxer signed. The promoter never signed. So we don't have a deal. There's nothing. So how come the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control gave him a release letter? Because he showed it to them based upon what would be the basis of granting the release if they didn't see the contract.
Yeah.
The contract wasn't signed. So
the
it's
lapse
not binding.
wasn't just on the Ghanaian side alone.
No. And then even both of them, the Nigerian and the Ghanaian boxer, were not medically examined, which is contrary to their rules and regulations.
That's just crazy.
Because they don't have a medical doctor who's going to examine him. So the Ghanaian boxer was not examined medically. Likewise, the Nigerian boxer. So both of them were at risk.
Right.
And then that makes him a misfit to handle Ghana boxing. No. Because the safety and health of the boxer should be paramount. It should be more important. Now they are thinking of elections. That's what is their priority. That shouldn't be the priority. The boxers should be the priority. There should be a medical doctor. So we find him to be a misfit, and we can't allow that to be the case going forward. That's why we recommend it. Yeah, we have to be radical if you want to make changes. Otherwise, then forget it. Forget it. If you're going to keep it as is, then you're going to have as is results.
Wow.
I felt really bad that this could have, in my estimation, and I'm going to emphasize it, in my estimation, he will still be living, but for the negligence of the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control and the Ghana Boxing Authority, especially the Ghana Boxing Authority. Because if they had a doctor, I'll give you a case to buttress it. When we spoke to Dr. Kwe, who was the immediate past last doctor ever to work with the GBA. In 2014, a Nigerian boxer came here with an international, release letter and all that. Turned out he had HIV.
Wow.
So the validity of this international release really calls into question where it was coming from. And if you know that history, you have another boxer coming from that same country. Typically, per their own rules and regulations, they ought to take the foreign boxer to Kolebu, which is nearby, to verify the medical certification. How really difficult is that?
And that 2014 discovery was made after the Ghanaian doctors did the test, the mandatory test.
Yes. He tested the Nigerian boxer.
That's the only way they found out.
That's the only way. How else would you have found out?
Because when he came from Nigeria, he had valid certificate.
He did. But
But
per
there were
their own rules and regulations, you have to do the mandatory 24-hour medical examination. So not only Olarinwaju was not medically examined, even John Mbanungu was not also medically examined, and they didn't do the weigh-in too, because it was not. No, they did not, because you see the original weigh-in happened on the 27th.
Yeah.
For the original fight date of 28th.
Yes.
Remember there were issues about cancellation?
Yes.
The boxer wanted to go back to Nigeria.
Yeah, they begged the boxer to come back in.
Okay, so
What did they beg?
Oh, they did.
well, that's not what I heard.
The who have begged small before.
He
That's
spoke
not
to
what
the
I heard.
promoters. That's not what he heard.
Ah,
Let's
okay.
hear what he heard.
Yeah, I heard they
What I
begged.
heard was that Olarinwaju's manager, trainer, called to say, okay, we agreed to throw the fight. We finally agreed to throw the fight, which was, according to him, the reason they objected fighting the first time on the 28th. They had some reflection, and they said, well, rather than go back to Nigeria empty-handed, okay, we'll come back and we will take the fight. We'll throw the fight. So we'll go back to Nigeria with something.
That in itself it's criminal. Agreeing to throw a fight.
That this is sworn testimony. Okay,
Wow.
so that's why they came back. Okay, this is according to one side. But when we spoke to the other side, they also confirmed it, that they agreed. Okay, so when they came back, the fight date already had elapsed.
Yes.
And you know, with boxing, it's not like football where, you know, you postpone the match and the following day you just go and play. No, every fight has to be covered by contract. There was no contract for the 29th fight. The contract was for the 28th.
Yeah.
So if they're going to fight on the 29th, there ought to be a contract, which you can draft and then send it to the Nigerian authorities, who will then, you know, consent to it, or otherwise they will have to speak with the boxer and the trainer and ascertain, you know, their willingness and readiness. You know, they didn't do that. So, though there was a weigh-in on the 27th, it was for the 28th fight, which is mandated per their own regulations. But there was no medical examination before the weigh-in. Typically you do the medical examination by a qualified medical doctor. I'm stressing qualified medical doctor, because you could have a medical doctor who may not be qualified.
True.
That's right. I'm not even talking a nurse, a real medical doctor who may not be certified or qualified to do that, because it's not on their books. Because they try to take a medical doctor, and I heard them talking about it. There's a medical doctor that they've been branding around that he was around and all was around. But that medical doctor is not qualified because he's under apprenticeship. So he cannot. So he doesn't even want to be mentioned because he doesn't want trouble from his bosses.
Himself, yeah.
You know, and we had to speak with him too, and his bosses. You know, and he rather they don't even mention his name at all because he will be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because he's not qualified. It's like Anna Planke, right? Who may not have a license and may be driving. That's right. Because he's under apprenticeship. You know, so that didn't happen. And because that didn't happen, it put in danger everybody on the bail. In any case, they put him on the. It was not until noon of the 29th that this arrangement was made to put him on the bail, unknown to IMAX, the partner of
course,
GBA, because that was the IMAX league.
Yeah.
And in the IMAX folks that came through were shocked, and they said the GBA breached their partnership. They breached their contract because it was only supposed to be for boxers in the various Ghanaian gyms to help them get them ready and fresher and get more promotions, and it will help Ghana boxing big time. I commend them for doing that. However,
My people.
your man decided to put
I like how Eko keeps calling him my man.
Olarinwaju on that. So the IMAX folks said that they didn't know that he was on.
Yeah.
It was a breach of their partnership.
Here's my question though. From everything you uncovered, why were the GBA so desperate to make the fight happen? Why? Like, why couldn't they simply just let it go?
I wouldn't know for them.
Right.
But what I have gathered is that the promoter happens to be your man's friend. So he allowed it. Because you see, what I remember advising the IMAX guys that you should not in future leave everything to your partner, because they said, the GBA is the authority,
the regulator.
so they allowed them to take care of all the technical aspects, and left them and trusted them to do everything by the book.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the lessons they have learned, they said, is to make sure next time in whatever partnership that they don't leave everything entirely up to the other partner, because then if they do something wrong, you are liable. So in that sense, it's really bad. So some of the reasons why is that the helmsmen are not looking at getting Ghana a world champion. They're looking at the bottom line. Because if to the point you are defrauding promoters who are paid for services of doctors who are non-existent, then of course you are not thinking about getting Ghana a world champion.
That's interesting.
I love the fact that they've had a lot of promotions. It's great. The promotions are always great, because in the past they were so infrequent that you didn't even have hope.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, there's not much hope that you will get a world champion anytime soon.
Yeah.
I mean, the earliest should be in the next 2 years because of Samuel Techi, because at least he's been to the
trajectory he's on.
Yes, because typically what I've checked, almost all of our boxers who have been at some kind of world stage have won the title after 6 years. Starting from Azuma Nelson, he won gold in featherweight at the World Military Games in 1978.
Yeah.
He won the title 6 years later, 1984. Aikote went to the Olympics in 1988, won the title 6 years later. Likewise, Afrikote, 6 years later. So at that world stage, once you get discovered or showcase your talent, typically it takes you
around
at least 6 years. But
Yeah,
it should be even easier now, because now they are alphabet organizations.
Yeah, quite a lot.
At the time,
Eko, just hold your thoughts for me. I want to, since you've been speaking, we've had Amin Lamte reach out and say that he has some clarifications to make. He was the ring announcer on the day of this particular incident. He also is the communications director for the Ghana Boxing Authority. Mr. Amin Lamte, very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Tahir.
Yes. Quick, I'm sure you've been listening to the conversation. You have a few things that you say you want to clarify.
No, I'm just from the MOX. A journalist just called my attention that Eko Asma is in your studio making certain points, and when you raise them, I realized that these are unverifiable, unsubstantiated allegations leveled against the GBA.
Okay.
And I need to
let's go through them one by one. What did the reporter tell you? This is reporter speech, so that if it's not accurate, I can clarify. What exactly?
Tahiru,
yes.
You are the host.
Yes.
You've asked him critical questions. And one thing that he mentioned to me that Eko Asma spoke about, I just cannot really remember. But let me just remind you, Eko Asma is a committee member that was set up. He's a professional journalist.
Yes, Mr. Mr. Lamte, I know the point you're about to make. I thought, for example, that you had. So listen, I have some questions for you, if you don't mind, based on the things that you said. I think that's
exactly
what will make.
This is what I want from you.
So according to the committee and the work that it did, the people that it met, one of the more serious issues that they just raised is that the GBA has not got a standing medical doctor, has not had one in the last 3 years, and yet fights have been going on in that period. And the committee's opinion is that should not happen, and no properly functioning authority should allow fights to go on without a doctor. Is this a situation? You've not had a doctor for the past 3 years. How have you been sanctioning fights in that process, in that
This
period?
is a lie. It's a big lie. We have 3 critical medical officers under GBA over the past years. One passed away soon. And we have Dr. Quay, who appeared before the committee. When we came to office, he was part of us, but he decided to step back because of 1 or 2 reasons. And then we had a medical officer, Eric Tete. He's with Kolibo, but he started temporarily before we gave him the appointment and all that. This gentleman, who is a senior nurse, called Edward Asante, he has been with all these doctors that we spoke about. He understudied them. Even the national team of the amateur boxing, Black Bombers, this gentleman traveled with them about 3 tournaments outside the country on international tournament. He was the one who represented Ghana as the medical officer under boxing because he's very conversant with all the twist and turn about medicals in boxing.
Yes,
yes.
Mr. Lamte.
On the first night, let me wind up. On the first night,
I want us to be on the same page. You said when you came into office, you had 3 doctors. You said 1 passed away, unfortunately. The other 1 stepped away, and then you're left with a medical officer. Is he also a medical doctor? Qualified medical doctor?
I'm saying that
okay.
Edward Asante is not a medical officer. He's a senior nurse. But he understudied all the doctors that I've mentioned. Dr. Aite, Dr. Quay. We did not say he's a doctor. But I'm saying that.
Yeah, but the committee says that per the regulation, you are required to have a doctor. It doesn't matter how long the nurse has understudied the doctor. They are not a doctor. They are not a doctor.
Granted.
So then there's no issue here because the committee's facts are then correct that you don't have a doctor. You have a medical officer and nurse who had understudied. And he may be very good at the work, like he said, but he's not a doctor. He's not a doctor.
Thank you. Nobody's arguing that Edward Asante is a medical officer. He's a senior nurse. It is he, a Kwasma, in your studio as a committee member who has gone out peddling falsehood and misinformation. I don't know whether you have a copy. Listen, I don't know whether you have a copy of the report.
Yes, Mr. Lamte, hold on. On the issue of the doctors, because I said you were not listening, so I was going through the issues one by one. And I started with the issue of the doctors. Your initial comment on it was that it was an unverifiable lie. You said it was unsubstantiated. But per all the things that we have established now, it is obvious that the committee was correct in stating that you didn't have a doctor.
The gentleman is not a doctor, but there was a doctor on the partner, but he left, he went back to the office. That is what I'm saying. Now, if you want to talk about this one, they are the same report that they submitted. If you have a copy of, if ECHO has a copy, that is page 92. What did that page say? Could the death have been prevented? That is the question. Now, Tyree, listen to me. According to the committee, given all the lapses we have captured in the staging of the fights between Gabriel Oluwasegun and Jonathan Imbanugu on the 29th of March 2025, we still could not find anything that could have been done differently to prevent the death of Gabriel Oluwasegun Olariwaju. This is coming from their report. And I'm saying that Edward Asante is not a doctor, it's a nurse. But I'm saying that based on the little experience that he's got, we have him at any time be with us with the ambulance service paramedics. And then this gentleman was on the fight now, he was there. Eric Teke was a doctor for the GBA. He came and he had a call and went back to his office. So that was when the thing happened, he was not there. But these paramedics were there. That is the point that I'm making. So if yes, they are right that the guy is no medical officer, but look at what they themselves captured in their reports. And this is coming from a pathologist, not an ordinary person, a pathologist who was invited by the committee. He went through the processes of the questions. He's a consultant pathologist and gave them this report. It's captured in the report.
Mr. Lamte, let's move to the other issue. The fact that the committee says that you did not test the boxer here when the boxer came before the fight. Can you say this is not true as well? That
we did not do what?
You did the doctor undergo medical examination 24 hours to his fight when he came to Accra.
Tahiru, in boxing, especially professional boxing, the first important step is the medical history of the pugilist. So the medical facility that he will go for his medical report is very significant. In professional boxing, sometimes we need the medical history of the boxer. Over the past 2-3 years, the fight that he fought, if you can even get his medical report, just oppose that with the current medical report, you will save the boxer. So the Nigerian Boxing Board of Control, they are those who give us the release. So the question is, where did he go for the medical checkup? He presented it to the Nigeria Boxing Board of Control. They scrutinized it. They authenticated it before they give him the release. So Ghana Boxing Authority, we are the ones in charge of supervising, monitoring, organizing professional boxing.
Is your entity not required to conduct your own independent test?
You've asked me.
Yes.
I'm in the process. Now, when the boxer comes, originally, automatically, the Ghana Boxing Authority will request information from you. Where is your medical report? Where is your, license? Where is your release from your federation? He submitted everything. And this same boxer, the Ghana Boxing Authority, even requested a copy of his passport. So we had his passport. We took a picture of his passport and had a copy.
Mr. Lamte, I understand you. I just want us to rush to the main meat of the matter. When he came, are you not required to conduct your own independent medical examination? And did you do it?
Tahiru, the medical check-up that we do here, when the boxer travel all the way from his country to Ghana, based on the report that they've given, there are areas that you do. Maybe the ECG, the MRI. There are other areas that we do, but we cannot get to the core. That is why when he came, we need clarification from the General Secretary of the Nigeria Boxing Board of Control, Remy. He confirmed it and said, yes, the boxer is fit.
What kind of independent medical examination did we do here in Accra? That's all I'm interested in.
It's unusual.
What exactly?
You need to check the pulse, the viral, the MRI. There are some of them that you need to check. The most important one is the ECG. That is what we take you to the core.
And you did this where?
We did everything. Today there is a fight. There is a fight at the Boxing Arena today.
You did those tests where?
We did all those tests, and I'm just giving you.
Which facility?
I'm giving you a tip. Your colleague, my friend, our colleague Natato is the ring announcer. Yesterday there was a weigh-in. You can talk to him after this fight.
All right.
Mr. Lamte, the protocol that was done with that medical checkup. When they go for the weigh-in directly, they have to go for the medical checkup before the fight will be started.
That is the procedure. You've laid it out, but you haven't answered the question whether you went through the procedure yourself.
We went through the procedure,
and you tested this boxer where? Which facility?
Which
doctor did this?
To your information, it's not the only boxer who came from Nigeria. There were totally 10 boxers who came. All of them went through the same processes.
All right, Mr. Lamte, thank you.
They fought, but it was him who actually encountered this sad situation. All of them went through medical checkup before they went for their fight, including him.
Okay, sure. Mr. Lamte, we have to wrap up the conversation now. We have to move on to other issues, but thank you so much for joining us.
Before you go,
yes,
let me just give you something small before you go.
Okay.
With regards to some of the allegations put out by a member of a committee, respected committee, when you are done with me, go and read the commission report of the May 9 disaster that I lost my biological brother. Now look at the preamble. the executive summary of a committee that has gone to find out the cause of death of an individual. But they've gone into checking the administration, whatever, more feasible, whatever the GB. Now listen to them. Listen. They are saying that after comprehensive review of the governance of professional boxing in Ghana, the committee concluded that the GBA has presently constituted cannot effectively organize, promote, or administer the affairs of professional boxing in this country. Accordingly, the GBA's license should immediately be withheld by the NSA and its finances comprehensively audited. An interim body should be temporarily be appointed to take over the GBA's functions until the implementation of the recommended reforms and the conduct of new elections within 6 months from the submission of this report. This is the summary of the preamble. If you are writing a book, your introduction, your preamble should entice what the appetite of the reader. But you as a committee, you have already concluded. No, let me tell you, a lot of people who are even appeared before the committee, they are saying that they were misquoted in this report.
Okay.
Now, the former chairman of the GBA, he went and made an allegation during his time before he left office. He did not officially hand over to the current GBA, but he went there raising a lot of allegations. Mohammed Amin Lamte said, "Thank you. I was the ring announcer, the communication director of Ghana Boxing Authority. Why did Amin Lamte was not invited at the committee?"
All right. So, Mr. Lamte, clearly you have a lot of issues with the report. We will get
invite me to the studio with Ekwasama. Let me sit down with Ekwasama in the studio.
No
that is
problem.
What I need from you.
Okay, sure. We'll do that.
Thank you. Stop going around spewing some.
It's okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Alim Lamte. He's the communications director for the Ghana Boxing Authority. He had quite a number of issues with the committee's work.
We won't even allow Echo to respond. We won't allow Echo to respond to them.
I was not asking Echo to respond.
So let me allow this.
I'm moving on to something else, please. Wouldn't you allow me?
I just feel it. If you will allow it, I'm craving your indulgence. If you will allow it, there are some things that are. Sicho said off air. This is not a book. It is a report.
Yeah.
You don't expect that the same academic requirements that would go into writing a book will
like introduction, body, conclusion.
Charlie, we don't need that. See, Amin Lamte, all of this rantings is not necessary. Go and talk to your boss. The committee invited the GBA president, invited a board member, Carl Loco. Their testimony.
No, we never spoke to Carl Loco. Never.
He is the one.
We never spoke to him.
I'm referring to Amin Lamte's claims.
Yeah.
Right. The last time, that's what he was saying, that they invited all of these other people and they didn't invite him. But we know that members of the GBA board were there. The president, at least, was there. At no point was he able to submit evidence of a contract that suggests that indeed they have had a medical doctor in their employ for the past 3 years. At no point were they able to establish any document that confirms the claims that he is making, that the person there is an employed certified medical doctor. At no point, because the questions before the committee came to establish that these medical tests were not run, it was based on the testimony. It wasn't guesswork. So if you are able
to be honest, I mean, Lamte hasn't done himself justice
at all
in answering
that
question.
But I find Lamte small.
Because if you are talking about the medical tests that were done, you have to bring the proof of the tests and the results of that test, right? That report.
How hard was it for him to say, Dr. Chutamaklo did the test?
Bro, you asked him. At where? You asked him 2 questions. Each time you had to repeat the question 4 times.
The guy said Natato be ring announcer. What does that got to do with
what is that?
The medical examination was done.
All right, fair enough. But so Mr. Alim Lamte, you should find time and come to. So let's investigate the issues more. But we want honesty, openness. Without that, we can't move forward and develop the sport, because the interests of the committee and the interests of the GBA should align. Because ultimately, what we want is the best for Ghana's sport. You cannot tell me that the committee members don't want the best for Ghana boxing. And you certainly can't say that members of the GBA, including Amin Lamte himself, who is an accomplished broadcaster, a massive contributor to Ghana boxing, doesn't want the best for Ghana boxing.
No, friends, you can't make those general statements.
Hold on.
People are selfish and greedy. Why do you want to say you can't say this person doesn't want this? This person doesn't want that. You want to make everything look like
the very conversation you are superintending. The very conversation you are superintending.
Don't tell
there is evidence of negligence.
Yes.
There is evidence of people deliberately looking the other way. You are telling me
everybody wants to. Everybody wants to.
You are telling me that those people who, by their actions and through their sworn testimony, have admitted to be negligent, have admitted to look the other way, have admitted to fraud.
Charlie.
You are telling me that today.
One quick one. It's like saying that nobody at the NSS wants the state to run, the state to lose money. People are greedy. You are telling me that nobody.
Mr. Asma, I would say a big thank you to you.
No, I have to respond to something. But he peddled another falsehood right now, mentioning one Dr. Eric Tete. I didn't want to bring it up, but since his name has come up, I have to protect that doctor. His last name is not Tete. It's called Eric Tete Ayete. We had to speak with his bosses.
That's the way you mentioned. You spoke about him earlier.
Besides that, we had to ask for the duty roll call. He was never there.
He said he came and had to leave.
He was never there.
Okay.
We have more information than what's even in the report.
Yeah.
He's joking with fire. He's just playing with fire. We have more information than what's in the report. We had somebody, on tape confessing that he lied at the committee testimony, at the committee sitting. So he's just joking with fire. I'm just telling him. Not to joke with fire. Look, that person was never there. Dr. Eric Tete Ayete was never there.
Okay.
And they're just lying. They lined up people to lie that he was there. But his name was not even... You know the fixtures, right?
Yeah.
The name on the fixtures, on the side, on the portion where the ring physician's name appears, was not that person. It was the nurse. It was the same nurse whose name was on the section of the ring physician the previous day. Not just that, for however long they have not had the doctor, is that same nurse whose name has been affixed as the ringside physician, though he's not a physician. This is just fraudulent.
Hasma, thank you very much. We appreciate your angle. You brought a massive education to us. Amin Lamte, thank you for calling in as well.
Everybody wants. We all want to be on the same page. You said me the vex me pass Amin Lamte.
This is Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM on Hits 103.9 FM, brought to you by Petrosol and Betway. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're switching our attention to football, and there's quite a lot to cover in the next 25 minutes or so. Felix Romack is also here to talk all things Ghana Football Awards. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. At 2:39 p.m. in the studios of Joy FM here in Kokomlemle in Accra, we'll be going all the way till 3 p.m. And the show, of course, is proudly brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy and Betway. Attention Aviator fans, this is your final boarding call to take to the skies and become Ghana's Aviator legend. It's exclusive to Betway. Take on the challenge, and if you are the best in the game, you'll be crowned the winner of a sky-high 500,000 Ghana City cash prize. That's $500,000. Plus, you will get guaranteed free flights daily when you play Aviator every day until the 30th of June. Get way more at betway.com.gh. Also, Petrosol Platinum Energy, triple ISO certified, multiple award winning with over 100 stations nationwide. We are continuing to deliver the quality fuels and lubricants that you can depend on. We remain committed to energizing your dreams, fueling your progress, empowering Ghana's growth. Our tagline, of course, is Petrosol, energizing dreams. And it's not just a slogan, it's our enduring commitment to you. So visit any of our 100 stations across Ghana and experience the Petrosol difference. Quality you can trust, service you can rely on. Petrosol Platinum Energy, still energizing your dreams today and always. Felix Romack is here. Felix is a board member for the Ghana Football Awards. It's happening tomorrow. It's live on Joy Prime. Felix, briefly, this is the 7th year of the award. What's different? What should we all be excited about tomorrow?
Okay, well, so there's 2 different things. We've changed the category. Thumbs up. We've named it the Football Impact Africa Award. And then there's a new category called the Football for Good. That is for players that are currently playing and using their time and resources to enhance the livelihood within their community. So those are the 2 categories that we have this year. 7 p.m. we are starting a red carpet because the live program on Joy Prime. We always stick with our time. We have a Manziba Nantsbrew performing.
Oh wow!
Olive the Boy also performing. There's also a surprise art as well. Yes. So offense. We have about 20 categories to award on the night. On the night, yes, and
with the big one being
the Footballer of the Year, Thomas Partey, Antoine Semenyo, Inaki Williams. They are in town though. So if you want to see them, we have about 80% of the nominees who are in town. We'll be attending the event. Ex-players as well. So it's a place you have to be, but it's strictly by invitation.
How do we get invitation?
Well, those who
Why do you watch my
I've already been invited. So if you don't have an invite, sometimes
you want to. Can we give our invitations on Game Plan? Game Plan listeners.
We can do 5.
How many can we?
We can do 5.
We can do 5, right?
Because you don't even have enough time to call a lot of callers.
Send me a message right now. 055-1111-997. The first 5 texters will get this. So speed up. And this is what you need in the message. Okay, tell me. My name is Fentu Tahiru Fentua. I'm texting from Ashaman. I want to attend the Ghana Football Awards.
Yes.
That's how it should be. Okay.
Tell them that the game plan crew would all be there. So
we'll all be there.
Yeah.
My name is Fentu Tahiru Fentu. I'm texting you from Ashaman. I want to attend the Ghana Football Awards. The first 5 people to send the messages through will get those tickets. I'll send your names to Felix, then they will send you your invitation. So let's do that now. Quick fingers. All right, Felix, anything else we should...
I just want to say a big thank you to our sponsors.
Okay.
NASCO, Safari Valley, Accra Luxury, FCM Travel Destination, Avantgarde, Shell, Ghana, Weeby Biscuits, and then Blue Jeans Energy Drink. And then, as usual, Multimedia has been a strong media partner for the Football Awards.
Of course.
And we are happy that you guys have always been holding us down.
Of course. Thank you very much. Felix Romark, board member for the Ghana Football Awards. Club 100 members. We come one. Is there a Club 100
They've
members
all voted. You can ask them who they voted for.
They are Club 100 members.
Yes.
They don't know anything too. They don't know anything, but they are there voting.
Who are they there?
I shock those people.
So
they don't know anything.
Sicho is there. Achu is there.
Sicho is back.
Yes.
Sicho.
They do Ghana football. Go to Solo, give me Sele. Whoop on dog.
All right, Felix, thank you very much.
All right, guys.
We'll catch up. Zicho, you can go back to your seat.
That place is not bad. The vibe.
Nah, this place is it's
Mami,
a vibe.
me I miss radio be.
Nah,
Some
radio
way, but
is
you-
the thing. Yeah.
Radio, even the table.
Listen. Listen, guys, we have about 15 minutes to wrap up, so I want us to get into some quick fire conversations. First up, Trent Alexander-Arnold. The Liverpool fan says that the guy, the last 1 year, instead of learning how to defend, he was learning Spanish. He's unveiling, he was speaking fluent Spanish, and then all Liverpool fans vex. I don't understand it.
The what does Liverpool fan be say? Trent in Spanish be clear pass in English. But yeah, I mean, look, he's closed a chapter on Liverpool. He's opening another chapter with this new club. One of the things that Real Madrid fans love is a player who's trying to straight away, get the culture. Now, one of the first parts of culture for anybody in identifying them is language. One of the things that Gary Bill struggled to deal with in his time with Real Madrid was that he never really got himself immersed in the Madrid culture. Didn't speak Spanish, didn't understand it. He was always speaking English and all of that. And Trent would have learnt all of these. Lots of people around the club would have spoken to him. Bellingham would have given him, all the apple. So yeah, the Liverpool chapter is done and dusted. New chapter has been opened. Liverpool fans, most of them are not wishing him well. But the football world is looking at what is going to contribute to the Real Madrid team.
Speaking about Liverpool, 100 million British pounds on a midfielder. They say they don't have money. They are net spenders. What's the net spend on this one?
Oh, the Coutinho money. The Coutinho
Florent
money.
Nets are signed. Somebody, I saw a post on Twitter saying that his total cost overlay to Liverpool could exceed 200 million by the time his contract extends. For a club that says that they only sell to, who have they sold this season so far?
Nobody.
They said they didn't buy anybody last season, so it's part.
So they've saved money.
Yeah.
They've been due to Susu from last season. So.
But Vitz, why does it cost so much? How exactly would he help Liverpool? Is it a player that they desperately needed?
Slot
Desperately needed, I'm not sure. Is he a player that improves them? I think so. Because it's very different from every other kind of midfielder they've got, right? He's good on the ball, under pressure, he works well, he sees the space for a pass, he can score a goal, he connects well with other players. So it's a decent investment. I still think any player, if you're not Ronaldo, Messi, maybe at the time Neymar, costing over 100 million is still very expensive. It doesn't matter in what era, 100 million is still very expensive. But now he has to justify and prove why he was bought for that money. And of course, they're buying from Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen know how to really sell. They know how to really sell players. So, and he is alongside Jamal Musiala, if you like, Germany's next gen. Like that is the tag that he has in Germany. So Germany are letting go one of their biggest prospects, right? And that is why in Germany he's highly valued. So I can understand why he's costing that much, but I think that he can bring a lot of good things to Liverpool, especially with the way Arne Slot plays. We'll see how Szoboszlai fits in. We'll see how he's able to combine Szoboszlai, Florian Wirtz. Because there could be games where he could play Szoboszlai, Florian Wirtz and Gravenberch in the middle of the park. That could be nice. How loose or how compact would that be? There's McAllister as well to flex around with. So yeah, Liverpool, we hear they are not done yet. They are looking to bring in Alexander Isak, which will be a wow signing for me. Yeah. If
this same window,
if they're able to sell Darwin Núñez to Saudi and they rake in some 50 or 60 million or 45 million safe,
they can spend 150.
They go
Isak
add
150.
And they go add the Coutinho money some to them.
Okay. That one they between.
No, but I hear Liverpool are now ready to spend big on stars.
They are spending.
Yeah, because they are in a very healthy place as far as FFP or PSR is concerned. So yeah, let's see.
Okay. Let's talk about other clubs and especially Manchester City. My brother, for the last 6 months at Chutamaklo, these guys have spent like 450 million British pounds. Pep Guardiola, they said it's fantasy spending. Because how have you, even some of the players he signed in January, just January, are already bench players at Manchester City. He's added Reinders, he's adding who
It's
else?
Nori, Ryan Cherky.
He's probably be adding the former Chelsea right back Livramento, right?
Yeah.
So one thing.
I mean that's just crazy.
But some of those are players that you know in the grand scheme of affairs were never going to start if City were doing well. So it doesn't surprise me. However, this is what City have done every time. Is it consistent with FFP? I think a lot of us would have reason to believe that some of the stuff they do should not be permissible if we're living in a very strict compliance or under strict compliance of the FFP regulations. But hey, it's a crazy market these days. Clubs are allowed to do all kinds of financial engineering. A few years ago, City were sponsoring themselves and paying the money into the club. 2 years ago or so, Chelsea sold their female club to themselves for about £200 million, was it?
Yeah, over 200 million.
Yeah, which was a year or some 18 months ago.
Oh, you know which one ESF?
Oh, in Norwich.
In which year?
So
This year.
So once those things have been allowed,
and they sold their own hotel to themselves then since.
nobody has the moral rights.
You know, sell your hotel to your body.
We didn't sell our hotel to ourselves.
Okay.
Who did they sell it to? Or Chelsea?
Go on and make your point.
Yeah. So once those things have been permissible, have been permitted, no one has the moral right today to go and complain about another club and their spending. A few years ago, Klopp was saying that if his club spent 80 million on Pogba, the way Man United, he was talking about Pogba, he would resign or whatever. Later, he had to go and apologize because
he wanted to spend 130 on Cancelo.
Yeah. Not even that.
He spent Van Dijk, he bought Alisson, he bought Darwin Núñez.
They had to go and apologize. Today, the Liverpool that's pride itself in being a club that lives within its means, is now trying to justify how they've had to spend all of that crazy money. And the hypocrisy in that for me is that the people who are now explaining it today used to call Pep Guardiola a checkbook manager. If that kind of spending seems obscene to you, when your club does it, you have to condemn it. If there is any panic, it is the fact that City over the years have proven that they get more hits than misses. It doesn't matter how much they spend. That is why it is news. But Liverpool have been spending crazy money for some time now. Except that on Modiano, it doesn't. When they spent £75 million on the Guinean midfielder, Naby Keita,
That was 55, 60 maybe.
it didn't. No, but in Euro terms, the total package, it didn't work out. That's why people don't even remember it. That one knew there's about 90 million euros, everything put together. It didn't work out. But when City spends 100 million on a makeshift centre back and made him a left back in Vadio, he's balling.
And Grealish has also come to bomb.
But
And they are
at least
quick. They are quick to say you won't play again.
Yeah,
Go.
but generally, if you look at the big money that City spends, 8 or 7 out of 10 times they get value from those players, right? Yes, they are overpriced, all right, but it works out. And I think the way City have gone about their business just goes to show you that they do not want to entertain any possibility of a repeat of what happened last season. So they are equipping the manager with as much artillery as possible, hoping that he can get a tune out of them.
Chelsea have signed a player. If you see the player, the shorts he's wearing and the scars there with himself, Bola, Sugo. Hey, Dadeke, have you seen the player Chelsea have signed? N'Golo Kante 2.0.
You know what he's trying to do.
What am I trying
He
to
knows
do?
that the signing will be ours, so he has to try to hype you, to hype the signing for him.
Did you see Dadeke, did you see the guy and the scars on his knee? And
He has been through life.
thank you very much.
Yeah, he has been
Even the name, Sugo.
He has been. No, but I mean, I think, to be frank, these days when Chelsea sign players, I want to wait till the season is about to start. When they register, then I know this guy is part of the team. Because Charlie, like, no, on a more serious note, no, Charlie, seriously, like Chelsea sign players. You know that Chelsea have signed this
It's hard to
player.
keep track.
Then next week you see the guy playing for Strasbourg. Charlie, so
But last week they said they signed another star. I said, my last
I see another star for there. I say, which other star to this? So let's wait for Chelsea transfers here. Let's wait when they register everybody. Then we know that okay, fine, this guy is staying. Because we're talking about Joao Felix. Now Joao Felix. 6 months later, the guy no did it. So you there, let's wait. Sugo and even the lap safe for relax when they register, because more boys they come. More boys are coming from their loan.
Osimhen is available. He said he won't go to Saudi. But seriously though, realistically, is there a European club that fits or that could, I don't know, for him personally? I think he has ambition, right?
For him, if it's about the money, then I don't think any European club
Can't afford it.
will pay. It's not can. They won't pay for. They won't pay. But if it's about ambition, and the ambition self is one way because the Saudi league is tough. But if it's about ambition, then maybe that's why he didn't go to. So maybe he wants to play in the Champions League. And to be frank, there are quite a number of teams that need strikers. Yes. There are quite a. Citroen they showed me. They say Liverpool is interested in Osimhen, but we'll see how that one goes. But to be frank, he's
Arsenal could use Osimhen.
Yeah, they could, but
the way Ateta plays, I doubt if he goes for him.
What about
Yeah.
Chelsea?
Ateta will go for Benjamin Sesko, who is a Kai Havertz striker. You see, like Sesko be Kai Havertz, but he's a centre forward.
Yeah, on shape, but
No, like
skirmishes.
the way he plays, the way he
Sesko, I
moves.
really like him.
No, but I'm saying that Ateta would like him because he played and Kai Havertz in play different that day, but he is a recognized striker.
Difference D.
What be the difference?
He's sharp pass. You don't know. No, Sesko, I really like the guy.
Benjamin Sesko.
Yeah, but there's just Gyökeres as well, who is on the market. So maybe Arsenal. As for Chelsea, your policy says that you don't want those kind of players.
Yeah.
So unless you want to breach it, because Mike Mignon stuff, you know, pick.
Charlie, see Cunha.
Anyway,
Matthias the Great.
Matthias the Great.
Listen,
You don't watch a Brazil game.
I watch.
Ha!
I watch. They play like 10.
Like 10 or say, Charlie, half 10, he didn't finish it.
Double 10.
Charlie,
Double 10.
Cunha.
they say Club World Cup, who is winning? They say the tickets no so way. They are reducing prices here and there.
Oh, they have to. It's so many things. There are so many things. USA is not a soccer thing like that.
There is a very simple solution.
The clubs that are playing,
Marketing.
but look,
They're
even
not
if you
trying.
market it,
They're not
the clubs that are playing, it's not a country matter. Pachuca, Ashok, Sundowns,
Who's going to watch
Al Ali, and like
Esperance.
Esperance,
FC
they are big in their zones, but they are not global pools.
Yeah.
So when Real Madrid plays, the stadium will be full.
Uh-huh.
When those
Chelsea
teams,
plays.
Chelsea plays,
That's what I'm saying. For
stadium
the
will be
first
full.
edition, FIFA made a big mistake.
Yeah,
First edition, 32 team. Put the best teams in
push
there.
them in.
Why is Barcelona not going?
Why is Barca at home?
Liverpool.
Why is Liverpool
at
not
home?
going?
Like, think about it.
I know the Barca.
Even
Then Benfica and Porto will go.
Amoritos Manchester United safe.
They forgo for branding's sake.
Bro,
Because they open the door for Inter Miami. Inter Miami
settings.
safe. For the American, the boys don't go watch MLS game. Then they open out for the world.
You like-
If
If
you
you
like
didn't
that.
mention Inter Miami, like this show no end.
No, but it's true.
But
for their host venue, they are
The
not-
first two
they are
games,
not
Serena
celebrating.
and Kim Kardashian go there. You see them. You see them. They don't go again.
That's it, bro. Then pay them in the
They pay them and they can't watch. They don't go
Alright,
again.
guys. Achu, quick one. Protocol Golden Kick. Who is winning? FA Cup final Sunday night,
Who do you want to win and who do you think?
5 p.m. Golden Kick. They've kicked out 2 Premier League teams on their way
Penalties,
here.
Yeah, they beat Hearts and Karela.
Yeah.
I think Kotoko will win.
You think Protocol
But who do you want to win?
Golden kicks.
All right, guys. I think that's how we'll wrap up the show today. On the Game Plan show live on Hits 103.9 FM and on
Friends.
Joy 99.9.
The Ghana Footballer Awards, no,
Seven,
the
yeah.
best international district. Me, I voted for Ashraf Hakimi.
Me too.
Yeah,
But that's
Ashraf
what
Hakimi.
makes sense.
Yeah, he go chop the CAF award too. Because you know CAF, they watch this thing.
Which one vote for him?
Yeah.
CAF,
I
they
mean, it
watch
makes sense. Any sensible football journalist will vote for Ashraf Hakimi. All right, guys. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Big shout out to Gasco 2001 year group. Their legacy project is on course, of course. Emmy Africa Expo is also back. You can register at emmyafrica.com and take your business to the next level. Game Plan on 99.7 Joy FM and on Hits 103.9 FM is brought to you by Betway and by Patreon. Big shouts also to Techno, who have signed a new partnership deal with CAF for the AFCON 2025 and AFCON 2027. So that's a massive one for them. I went to ask some people what they have, whether they use Techno devices, and too many people use Techno devices. So big shouts to them as well. And big shouts to Ken. Is it what? Yeah.
Move from the low budget thing to.
Tomorrow is Anita's birthday.
Anita.
Yeah, tomorrow be Anita in bed.
Oh, Anita, happy birthday in advance.
Yeah, she's doing a party at Achimota.
What? You can't just say Achimota. Achimota where?
Now the listeners invited. They like chop too much. Make them
Let me mention the ones who have and will get invitations. The top 5: Hamza Zureka Kalika from Kadeshi. You will get an invitation to the Ghana Football Awards. Anum Watson Kweku from Circle is also getting one. Set Dorte from Dansuman is also getting one. George Mensah from Achimota is also getting one. And the last one is Bismarck Aye. You will also get one. We have your phone numbers. We'll send it to Felix. Felix will send you your invitations. Thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in again. We're back again next Friday with another edition of Game Plan. Until then, big shouts to you, all of my guests. Eko Asma was here earlier. Amin Lamti also joined us. Felix Romak, Sucho Philip Atrim, Daniel Kranting, and Achu Tamaklo. My name is Fentuo, Tahiru Fentuo. Do take care of yourself, and bye-bye.